So I'm Danny.
And I'm Patrick.
Yeah, and so we're trying to just spread love and aloha, as much as we can around, with kids and adults, and just release the aloha that exists within us. And funny story is, Patrick and I, we knew each other for a long time, through surfing and getting into trouble and all of this. And just recently, we started seeing each other's posts on social media, and I noticed that Patrick in Orlando his wife was doing a lot of work with students, doing calligraphy and spreading aloha. It's like, wow, that's awesome. I'm doing prompt-based journaling with kids to release aloha within. So we reached out to each other and says, hey, we're doing the same thing. Let's get together.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing because, like Danny said, we've had a long history of that typical local boy life, going out to concerts and, just kind of like having fun and stuff like that. And then at this juncture in our lives, we kind of saw each other that we were kind of moved from one end of the spectrum to the other about now helping people and trying to bring that positive message into everyone's lives, which is love and aloha, and really have people, we were just kind of talking, everybody has that essence within ourselves, and within ourselves, everyone's on a different path of how close you are to that message, and some people are more in tune with that message than others, and so we were kind of like, hey, let's get together and just kind of work to help people identify with that positive message of love and aloha. So it's been an amazing journey. We've only been on this ride for a short time, but it's so much positivity and stuff coming out of it. So we're very, very stoked though.
Yeah,
how it's going so far.
Yeah, super grateful. So for me, it was interesting because I had been in a banking career for like 25 years, right? And I knew that there was always something, this yearning that there was something more. And I knew that there was something actually wrong in my life because I knew about aloha, but I wasn't living it. And so I was fortunate that I had so much opportunities to do a lot of different like programs and help and therapy and so on. My life was like a mess. And when I got through all of that, I was like, had I learned all of this stuff at a younger age, right? Would it have made a difference in the choices that I made? And so I said, okay, my focus for this phase of my life is I'm going to focus on the younger people to develop something where they can get in touch with their emotional health and resiliency. And for whatever reason, it was aloha that kept coming to me. And so people that I met, like Hono Shim and Ramsey Tom, and all of these people started coming into my life. And I was like, okay, let's just keep going down the path. And so what I realized is that, okay, what can actually help me grow? And it was the journaling. It was the intentions that you set each and every day. It's how you show up, being grateful and appreciative, and even facing the challenging times in your life. But how does your best self show up for it? And then also, like, there's one question about how do you live aloha every day? Whether it need to be kind, to be generous, to be gentle, to show unconditional love, to be patient. And if we can set that intention every day, maybe it can change and shift the way how we feel every day, and how we show up.
And then my journey started off 8 years ago. I was actually in sales and marketing for over 30 years, and was in the medical industry as a medical sales rep, and actually I was kind of like what Danny was saying. He's on this path, and you're kind of like, you're making good money and you're doing stuff, but something was kind of missing. And for me, it was I was very self-centered. What I came to realize, and basically, it was all about me. Everything that I did had to have some kind of outcome for myself. And then my wife and I found this teacher, Dr. and Master Jigan Shah, who actually was traveling around the world teaching everybody that we had the power to heal ourselves, and the main power that was there for all of us was love, and which is the essence of aloha, and he was teaching about how we can solve the challenges within our lives by bringing that positive message into ourselves, by removing any of the negative messages that we have within us, by by bringing that positive message, which is love. And one sentence secret is love melts all blockages. And you know, love is synonymous with aloha. And I think I was talking to Danny, and like many of us just, we know what aloha means, we know what love is, but many of us just know it on the surface level. Like it's a word, but do we really embody it? Do we really take it within ourselves, and then do we really share it? And so you know, one of the things we were talking about is, you know, with the Aloha Journal and these positive messages that we do through calligraphy, is you know, do we embody aloha?
You gotta feel it.
Yeah, do we embody aloha? And then if you embody aloha, then we share aloha. And then once you share aloha, then you begin to feel aloha. And
Comes
so
back to you.
it comes back to you. And so it's this cycle of positive energy and light and within the message, and that's something that really radiated within me and started to change myself to being not so self-centered, but to look at how can I help others feel that positive energy. And through what Danny is doing and what we're doing, and now working together, you know, we've been working with the kids in the schools, and what we have found is that, you know, children, if you really help them to embody that message from a young age, like Danny said, wow, how would our lives have looked if we had embodied that positive message from an early age? Our lives probably or may have looked very different. And so, but I'm very glad that now we're on this path together. Better late than never, I always say.
Exactly.
so that was also my journey, and I'm so glad that now our journey has kind of combined into one. And so we're looking forward to working together to spread that message.
We're doing, you know, a variety of things, going out to schools, volunteering, doing like a lot of talks, and through the talks there's a lot of people that come out and says, oh, this would be a good project for people with breast cancer, because as they're going through, you know, challenges, right, to be able to do the journals and reflect on all the positive messages. The way this journal is a little bit different is it's meant to be done in at least pairs. Because most people, when they reflect and they think of positive messages themselves, it's really, really good. But the real healing comes when you actually can share it and release it with others. You know, we in Hawaii, a lot of times we grow up with our parents saying, hey, you know what, don't brag about, you know, what's going well in your life, just be humble, right? But at the same time, it's like, hey, do not air out your dirty laundry and mess up the family name. So we tend to hold a lot of these things inside. And what happens is, if there's no healthy outlet, we don't know how to release it. Right? So with the kids, we tell the teachers, hey, have the kids pair up once a week, share just one thing you're grateful for that's going on in your life, and maybe a challenge. And it's amazing that the healing that can happen when they're able to share it. I just got a message from this teacher at Aloha Elementary, and she's been having the 4th graders actually do the journal. And so in 4th grade, you know, they're writing things like, oh, what difficult situation that might come up today is I might get bullied. And the way my best self can show up for it is just be kind. And so can you imagine, like, people are worried about getting bullied, and they're thinking something is wrong with me. And the person that they're sharing it with might be the bully. And to see, you know, like, wow, look at the impact that I might be having, and to show up kind. And it's those types of interactions that the teachers are saying, like, you know, wow, you know, the kids are actually talking about these types of things, rather than they're sitting in class and they be nice to each other. They have this ability to kind of share.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and we've been through the calligraphies, we've actually been going out to the schools. We just finished a session at Ali'iolani Elementary School in Kaimaki, and we're teaching the kids how to embody that positive message through calligraphy. And what we found is it's very interactive for the kids, and you know, it's teaching them. We're working with this this guidance counselor who's teaching them a positive message. So, like, for the first week that we were there, he was teaching them, like Danny was talking about, kindness and how to show kindness. And then we came in there and we were teaching them how to write this calligraphy called greatest, which is da. So then we had them do a little song, and they were singing greatest kindness. And then we had them share, and even it's so amazing because you think little kids, you know, second graders, fourth graders, and we're teaching from K to 5, and we're saying, well, how did you feel after just, you know, repeating this this one positive message? And you would think you were talking to a group of adults because they were saying, wow, I felt so peaceful and calm. There was a calmness that came over me. One person said, wow, I really felt that message coming into me and really becoming the message. And I was just like, these are coming from second graders. I was just like, wow, you know, but it was really a good thing to see when you hear that feedback. And it's the last 2 years, I was telling Danny, we work with the City Parks and Recreation Summer Fun programs, and we shared a special song called Love, Peace, and Harmony to over 5,000 kids. And we, you know, one kid was actually, he was in high school, and I said, well, how did you feel after singing that song? And he said, you know, it's amazing because I felt better than I did when I left home today. And so what Danny and I realized by just sharing our stories is that, you know, children are actually going through a lot themselves in their own different ways. We as adults have our, you know, we have our lives, we have work, family, you know, relationships and all that, but kids are actually struggling just as much as we are with their own, you know, in their own circle of what they're going through. And so that's why it really was powerful as Danny and I share our stories, that to really see how love and aloha is one and the same in that positive message, that we can all help a lot of people to embody that message.
It's amazing that, you know, as we're doing some of the research, that Hawaii has like the highest suicide attempt rate in the country, which is like blew me away, right? And everybody knows the statistic that suicide is the number 2 cause of death amongst young people, but in Hawaii it's actually number 1. So that's why this work is so important to us, you know, to see like how can we shift, because we live in such an amazing place. It's so spiritual here. Everybody wants to take care of each other, just the culture. So how can we embody that even more, to feel aloha within? We just want to spread it as far and wide as we can. What's interesting is, while our initial focus was young adults, a lot of the adults are drawn to it. A lot of the adults want to do the journaling, the calligraphy, the forgiveness classes, the mindfulness. And we think that's super important, because if the kids go back home to the adults and they come home to this culture of like, you're not good enough and try harder, then the messages get mixed, right? And I think a lot of adults, they want to change. They know that there's this feeling that's inside. It's like something is not like right, right?
Yeah.
Getting more things is not going to make you feel better. Getting a new car, you know, a better job, more pay. It's something that I want to feel fullness that has to come from inside.
We're looking at, you know, what different avenues that, you know, there's so many avenues, you know, because everybody has a hot button, and so to speak, you know, and how to, so we're just looking at different avenues of how we can get that message out, because everybody reacts to that message. Like Danny said, you know, we find that, you know, from kids to adults, it's like a pressure cooker. If you keep in that negative energy within you, it just builds and builds and builds. And so, you know, to find that avenue where you can have that release, and then once you release it, then you start to embody it. And I think, you know, especially when you're dealing with or sharing that message with young kids, the parents will start to see the change within their kids, you know, and then once they see the change within their kids, then ultimately the light that is within the kids from that positive message of love and aloha will start to kind of radiate out and start to change the household as a whole. And you know, you know, in Mumbai, they did this. They were teaching that song "Love, Peace, and Harmony" to the kids in Mumbai, in one of the most biggest slums in Mumbai, and there was so high rate of domestic abuse and crime, and you know, the kids were suffering. and they just taught the kids that song, and the kids were going home and singing that song. And what happened was, statistically they found that the crime rate started to go down, domestic abuse started to go down, and the kids' learning rates started to increase. And so it's just that positive affirmation that when you bring a positive message such as aloha and love, that you literally can start to change from within. Master Sha says, Master Sha is from China, so he always has his like really philosophical sayings. He calls it his one sentence secret, but he says that what happens in the small universe within begins to happen in the bigger universe around us. And so if you bring that positive message of love and aloha within yourself, you start to change within, and then it starts to change that environment around you. And so that's what Danny and I are looking for, is like our goals is, as Danny said, to spread it far and wide. And I think it's a message that everybody can really relate to.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't, because we don't try to replace a program. We use existing SEL, which is social and emotional learning programs. And the beauty to our tools, it can be used with any program. It just supplements it. It helps out the teachers, it helps out the students. And so far it's been great, been very receptive.
Yeah. It's like at Aloha, they have that hybrid program where they're having this guidance counselor go around and teach them these positive messages such as love, kindness, respect, and we just, like Danny said, it's like almost like a complementary kind of tool to actually enhance what they're already teaching. So it's not like we're coming in and saying, okay, you need to change everything what you're doing. And it's been really receptive to all the schools. And the good thing about it is, it just takes one school to accept. And then once it's like a domino effect, because when they find like Kalakaua Middle School, when they found out that Aliolani had started this program with the calligraphies, they said we need to have that in our school. And then it's just starting to kind of foster a sense of growth to spread that message. And like you said, we're really coming in as kind of like an enhancement to what they're already doing, because I think the schools are really realizing that to really foster this positive energy within our children and get them ready for life as they move on. Like Aliolani is preparing their kids for middle school, and the middle school is preparing their kids for high school, and so on and so forth. And they're really beginning to realize that it's like a big circle. It's not just the textbooks and the reading and the math and stuff, but you really have to kind of embody that message within where it fosters a sense of, I want to learn, I want to better myself, I want to go out and create future leaders. I think.
I think, at least for me, I look at life with more gratitude. That every day I wake up, it's a gift. And I mean, if I can do whatever I can to share more love, kindness, and aloha with whoever I come in contact, then it's worth it.
Yeah, for myself, it's just been an amazing journey. As I shared, I was very self-centered, and I was telling Danny, it was like, come on the weekends, now we're in football season. It'd be like Sundays, it'd be like, it's all about football. But, maybe not from morning to night, but, your Sundays are kind of taken, at least for 3 hours for one game. But, or Saturdays with football or whatever it was. And then, now I find myself just all about helping people. And that's what really resonated when I met Danny and we were talking. This past weekend, we were at Magic Island doing the walk for suicide prevention on a Saturday, and then before that we were at the Waianae Boat Harbor camp over there, and just bringing that positive message to them. And what really blew me away was people that don't have very much tend to be very happy versus us that seemingly have everything. Where I think society brings us that we just want more and more and more and more, and then when you meet someone through trying to spread that positive message, you find that deep down inside people can be happy with just the bare necessities, just to be happy that they have something, versus I gotta have that new iPhone that's coming out. Even though your phone is perfectly perfectly functional. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, well, the new one's coming out. I gotta get the new one. You know, I gotta
Mhm.
stand in line. And,
Mhm.
But what I have learned is to remove that self-centeredness and actually really open my heart to helping others, and that has really changed my life for the better. I feel so. I'm very, very grateful.
I hope they see, that they too can embody aloha and love and gratitude, and which they do. We have a different practice now at the dinner table. Like before we eat, everybody, including my 23-year-old son, has to say one thing I appreciate about myself and one thing I'm grateful for. And I think just to be able to do that, it changes and shifts the conversation to like just eating and going through life, because we're always in this anxiety state, I think, that the brain always wants to move towards like, how can I protect myself and how can I avoid danger. So we're always in this state of fear, but when you shift towards gratitude and love and kindness, you go to a totally different state of mind, right? Where now you can be more calm and you can say, wow, this is amazing that we can actually go and have clean running water, there's food in the refrigerator, there's a roof over our head, where 75% of the world, they cannot enjoy those luxuries. Yeah.
It's been amazing because like I was sharing, the biggest thing or the biggest way you can really affect your family members in a positive way is for them to actually see the changes that come with that you are embodying. Like from that party guy and all about himself to now, like, spending his weekends helping others and stuff. And it really starts to affect others in a positive way. And I was telling Danny that we have our friends that are kind of like, oh, what is this? Like, somebody said, oh, he's just doing this because he wants to get into heaven now. But and I was just sharing, but as they see us on social media doing these kind of things, and this is kind of event after event, situation after situation, just by sharing. And I just said, just this past weekend, I had some friends that never liked my Instagram post when it came to like the things that I was doing, but they would like it. They would like something if I showed them a nice dinner, a picture of a dinner or something. They would like it. But this weekend when when I posted a picture of us doing the walk for suicide prevention, they had these likes from our closest friends that really it started to affect them in a positive way. And even for my wife is I'm very grateful for her to be on this journey with me. Even her friends are kind of saying, or is she going through a midlife crisis? What is she doing? And now they're seeing all these positive things that we're doing for the community. They say, wow, she got a call from one of her best friends and said, I really, really admire you and thank you for all the stuff that you guys are doing out there. And so it's starting to affect our family members in a very, very positive way. And for me, the best thing is that my mother and father have really, really embodied that journey to spread love and aloha now.
Here's the Aloha Journal, and it's really meant to be an exercise where you get yourself in the right mindset, right? So the first question of the day is probably the most important question: is what is my intention for the day? It's the I am question. So oftentimes, we wake up and says, wow, I'm tired, or I'm hungry, or I'm discouraged,
it's like all these negative messages
I'm
are
lonely,
stuck.
right? So the danger to that is anytime that thought becomes a belief, there's energy that happens inside you that wants to make that true. So instead of that, what would your intention be for today? Like, I am brave, I am authentic, I am love, I am aloha. What would it be for you?
For me, I'm just grateful.
Oh, perfect.
So as I set that intention, I wake up and I'm like, I'm very grateful for just being alive and having another day to help other people. Yeah. And I think, to set that intention for myself as soon as I wake up, it really sets a positive path for the whole day. Yeah. And the next one is, one thing I appreciate about me. And it's already, you already set that positive intention by what you set as soon as that first sentence. And then to show something that you appreciate within yourself. Because what we found is that a lot of people have self-love issues.
Yeah.
And so to set that intention, but also to think about something that you appreciate about yourself right off the bat, sets you off on a positive path for the whole day. And then great gratitude is something that we're very strongly aligned with, is that, I think if you bring gratitude and you have gratitude in your life, so the two things I'm grateful for, so I'm actually grateful today because I knew we were coming here, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to share. I'm also grateful for Danny to bring that opportunity to me.
The gratitude portion, right? What we tell the students to do, or whoever's doing the journal, is try to be specific with the gratitude and actually feel that happening. So we call it the multiplier effect. So, if I'm grateful for my daughter, right? That could be one thing. Or I'm grateful for the time I spent with my daughter last night. I got to put my arm around her, and it just felt so good that she didn't brush it off. And and now that I'm feeling that, I feel this like warmness inside. So when I write that down, what happens is that event actually happened again, because the mind cannot distinguish between a real event and an imagined event. And so reading it, I experience it again. Telling it to you, I experienced it, and now you experienced it. So the thing happened like 4 or 5 times, right? And so that's the power of the gratitude.
What am I excited about today? And so it actually starts the energy within your body to really start to flow, because you're making that positive affirmation of something that you're excited about doing. And then instead of like saying, "Oh, I'm so tired, oh, I gotta go to work," or whatever it is, you're sending that positive message about something that's really about getting that energy to flow. And in traditional Chinese medicine, if the energy within your body is flowing, you're healthy. And so that kind of sets this cascading effect of all these, starting from that first intention, moving down with the journal, starting that energy to flow to make you really be excited about what you got planned for the day. The next question is, what is a challenging situation I might face today? So you're basically, what really helps me with this journal is it's actually, you're acknowledging something that may come up instead of having it blindside you, or you're just pushing it to the back because you don't want to think about it. Because it's all about how we respond to challenges. And Master Sha says there's 3 ways to respond to something. Always pick the best way. And so if you're putting it front and center of something that may be challenged, it not only prepares you for what if it materializes, but it also prepares you if something that you haven't thought about comes up. Because now you're set yourself in that mode that whatever challenge comes up, I'm ready to respond to it in a positive way. And then it really kind of goes on. I really love this next question. Well, how will my best self show up today? So you're basically just, again, putting it to the forefront of how you will perpetuate that positive self of how you will grow throughout your day, and really set you up to respond to anything, whether it be good or bad, in a way that really helps to foster that energy continuing to move within your body. So and then then the next question is, how am I feeling? So how am I feeling in the mind? So what is your mind? Because our mind is very powerful, and your mind can work with you or it can work against you. So if you set that message within your mind, like, how is my mind feeling? Then you kind of acknowledge it. If it's kind of feeling down, then you know that I need to respond to it and acknowledge it and transform it. But if you're feeling positive and ready to tackle on the world, whatever it brings to you in that day, then you actually begin to reinforce that energy towards that goal. And then also to acknowledge how your body's feeling. Sometimes you want to do all the right things, but your body's telling you no. It's just like, I want to go out and I want to go out to Mahalo and help people, spread some love and aloha. But your body's telling you not today. You're really, really tired. But if you acknowledge that, then again, if you acknowledge it, you bring it to the forefront, then now it's right there, so you can work on the things that transform it, and whether it be by with your mind, or just from your heart, or even doing some practices to actually transform any of the blockages that you're feeling physically in your body. And
Yeah, the feeling question is really important, because a lot of times we just have life just happen to us, so we could be feeling really bad because it's an event happened, but all of a sudden your whole day is bad, when in reality your whole day wasn't bad. So how are you feeling, and being in touch with what they say is like, if you can feel it, then you can heal it. But if you just let things happen and fester, and all of a sudden, that's when suffering happens, right? So kids can actually do this better than adults. Oh, I'm feeling like sad, and I feel it right here in my body, right? And so we said, yeah, good. Like, continue to name it, right? And then you'll be able to like know how to heal it. Adults, especially men, because I'm in a lot of men's groups, we don't talk about feelings a lot, so it's super hard to name it, right? So we'll do like a meditation exercise. Hey, how you guys feeling? Good. Fine, okay, right? So those are the three responses.
Usually with their arms crossed.
Yeah. But that's why it's so important. Like like Patrick was saying, we need a release valve. Like I use the analogy of the Instant Pot, right? Just like, unless you like release that valve and let all the steam go through it, you're just gonna let that thing fester, and then that's when things happen where you either isolate or you explode. And then this last question is a question that changes every day. That's the Aloha question. So one might be, what's a small random act of kindness that you can do today? Or another one might be, whom can I connect with today? Or what is beautiful to me? Or how can I be more humble today? So every day somebody has a question with an intent to how can you live aloha. So that's the questions in the morning. We have quotes, a new quote every day. We have a things I get to do today. So most people say, hey, what are the things that you must get done today, or you have to do today, or your critical few? We said, like, you know what, the things that you get to do in life, there's a gift. So these are things that I get to do today. And then at the end of the day, like for 2 minutes, just kind of say, like, recap, how did I live aloha today? How was I either kind or generous or humble or connected or selfless? What's one situation that I handled well? And then finally, what's something new I learned? We tell people, if you can do it right before you go to sleep, then what a good message that you can tell your brain and your subconscious mind as it goes, like, wow, I started the day with aloha and gratitude, I ended the day with aloha and gratitude.
Yeah, it's kind of like setting that positive message that when you start, and then as your mind starts to shut down and your body begins to rest, you end with that positive, feeling good within yourself, and that really facilitates healing on the physical, emotional, and mental, and even spiritual bodies. Is just waking up with that positive message and that urge to do good things and spread love and aloha, and then going to sleep knowing that you did good, and really resting on that positive message of something I handled well today, or something new I learned today. You're literally resting the mind and with that positive message, and literally going to sleep with a smile on your face.
So that exercise in itself can make positive shifts. But again, I think the real power and healing where it gets unleashed in the journal is if Patrick was my Aloha journal buddy and says, hey Patrick, like, how did you show up with Aloha list last week? I say, because look at his journals, like, oh yeah, this is what I'm real happy about. Went on that suicide prevention walk, and was able to reach a lot of kids, and these students from Moana Loa High School want to learn more about calligraphy, and I feel good about it, being able to spread that.
Yeah, and Danny makes a great point, because if you're just sharing it with yourself, then you're kind of learning. It's great because you're learning your self reflection. But if you're sharing it with somebody, and in turn that person is sharing their own experiences from the journal with you, you get to learn from each other.
Yeah.
There's been studies done that group healing is so powerful than more than just self healing.
Yeah.
Because you basically you're literally exchanging that positive energy between the two of you, by sharing your own experience and learning from each other too. So you can actually kind of say, hey, this is what the random act of kindness I did today, and this is what I learned. And then Danny could say, well, this is the act of kindness I did, and this is what I learned. And then right there, you have this sharing of information. So now you're not just having a library of your own experiences, but you're having a library. You have a library of what Danny was experiencing, and so on and so forth when you're having like a group sharing. So that's why it's so important to have the group sharing of the journals. It's like consider one light bulb. You are a light bulb. I used to say the lighters at the concert, showing our age.
Now they're using phones, right?
Now everybody's using their phone. I mentioned that to the kids, and they were looking at me like, lighters? Like, no one carries lighters anymore. Like, and then but imagine one light bulb, and you light one light bulb, and the light bulb is a reflection of your own healing, and your own light that's coming from within you. But then imagine Danny and I, now we have 2 light bulbs, and then the both of you now we have 4 light bulbs, and then 10 light bulbs, 30 light bulbs, and then next thing you know, you're like in the Super Bowl when everybody turns their phones on, and that whole stadium lights up, and that's kind of like an analogy of what the power between group healing and sharing is all about. So
you do it for 5 days during the week, and then in the weekend there's a reflection piece. And the thing about the journal is you want to start creating a habit where you can do it daily, but life happens. So sometimes people's like, oh, I missed, it's like Tuesday, I haven't journaled since last week Friday, but that's okay. Like a couple times a week is better than not doing it at all. They can call me or reach out to me or email me at Danny, what's my email? Danny.kim@me.com. We're building a website right now. But the great thing about the journals is, a lot of the students and the teachers, they don't have the money to afford, all these journals. So what we've created is this system where if you buy 2 journals, and they're meant to do in pairs, we donate 1 journal to the
we as men, we put up that barrier where we don't want to connect with that inner self, because when you talk to people, when you talk to men, we all have that spirit of love and aloha within ourselves. But we as men, how we grew up, like you were mentioning, and just that stigma of you can't show your emotions and stuff. But men out there, they have just as much of that message within them. And they also, it's like a yin and yang we're talking about. We all have yin and yang we have that masculinity within ourselves, but we also have that feminine side that really would help us. But because of the way society has brought us up, sometimes it's very hard for we as men to kind of connect with that feminine side of us, whereas we just kind of have that, I don't want to do that, but it's also with the journal and just bringing in a positive message, and whether it's with calligraphy to really unblock that, open your heart. The sky's the limit once you connect with that. And we teach that the soul of the message, that message of aloha and love wants to come in, but if your heart, which is the receiver, is closed, then you can't receive it. And then the mind, which is the processor, is over processing everything. We call it the square mind, whereas it's not accepting, like, okay, how can first of all, I don't even want to bring, I have a problem with love, and a lot of it stems from self-love. But that word makes people feel uncomfortable, some people. So the mind starts to over process it. But if you just let the mind be quiet and the heart open to receive that message of aloha and love, then the energy starts to flow in all aspects of our life. Not only just the physical, but our relationship. The energies in our relationship start to flow. the energies within your job or your
You experience more abundance.
exactly, you know, and we always tend to think of flourishing as financial, but you can be flourishing in all aspects of your life, flourishing with your relationships, your even your connection to the land, your connection to what you know, whatever thing that you're connected to, you can be flourishing in that aspect. And it's all about unblocking that energy, opening your heart to receive, having that mind be quiet to just accept it, and then it starts to manifest into a physical reality, which is health and being healthier and happier. And so this is what, you know, the journal helps you take you on that journey, whereas we're saying, like, you know, at the end of the journal, the answers probably would be very different from when you first started. And so we're all on a journey, whether you're on a journey for an hour or a day or a week or years. But like you said, we just it's funny because we really connected in our early lives to the things that most people go through, you know, the partying and the going out to concerts and having a good time. And now just there's this deep connection to really wanting to spread good in the world now. And so, like you said, it was really seamless, the conversation that we had.
And I think it just connects well with the whole mission of Aloha. It's not meant to be done alone. Aloha is meant to be shared with other people. And so it resonates with me because, you know, as I started to kind of unpeel the onion and see how many people are lonely out there. The loneliness, level of loneliness, depression, anxiety, suicide just keeps getting higher and higher and higher every day. But we're more connected than we ever were, right? And there's, you know.
But it's almost like a false sense of connection.
It's not. It's about genuine connection. And so, when I look at my own life, right? I mean, I had the personality to connect with people, and you know, that's how we connected with each other. And I was always surrounded by people, but I always felt that I was lonely. So it was inauthentic connection, and I always wondered if something is wrong with me that I cannot genuinely connect. And it was the blockages that I had was like, okay, you're too concerned about what people are thinking about you, and that's why you're all connecting with people, right? So I can be, you know, trying to be a clown or whatever. So that's why this connection piece is so important, that you cannot do life alone. You always have to do it in teams, with a partner, with groups, and if we can get more people connected, I think we can teach people how to feel less lonely.
Yeah. So we feel that it's a great partnership because we're bringing in that common goal of making people feel healthier and happier, but we're also coming at it at different ways of how to do it. But actually, they're different, yes, in the sense of the application, but they're the same in the end goal that we want to create. And you know, with Tao calligraphy, you know, we're it's something that people really resonate with, because you know, it's an art and you can teach them art, but it's also what the one sentence secret is: what you write is what you become. And so when you're writing the calligraphy with a positive message such as greatest love, you know, you start to embody that message. And it's really, really unique because people don't know why. They're just like, you know, it's just art, but it's almost like a healing art, because when they're doing it, they feel this sense of joy. And then we're talking about the heart opening. They just feel their heart opening. And you mentioned, or you asked about how the schools were actually accepting of it. And some of the best responses we've gotten from the directors of, you know, the care homes that we go to, or some of the facilities that we're bringing that message to, is you just have them write the calligraphy. And they're like, oh my gosh, I just felt this opening. And you know, so that's why Danny was like, you know, really, you know, you use the calligraphy, you use the journal as tools to really facilitate that healing journey that we want everybody to embark on. And we're so happy that we can be together to be the captain of that boat, or the captains of that boat, to really bring what we think is a very, very special message. Is an original calligraphy from Dr. and Master Jigan Shah, and it's written in a very ancient style of writing called Ibitsu writing, which means oneness writing. And this style of writing was only shared with the emperors and their families of the Qing dynasty. And it was taught to Master Sha from his teacher, who was over. She just recently passed away, but she was 107 years old. And the reason why she learned it was she grew up in the Forbidden City, and was taught to it was taught to her by the Taisher, or the lead educator of the last emperor of China. But she kept this secret. She was recognized by the UN as an expert on Chinese characters, but she never shared this with anybody, because she promised to not share this secret with anybody unless it was used for good. And so you fast forward it over 100 years, she meets Dr. Master Sha, who's traveling around the world to teach others that we have the power to heal ourselves through these positive messages, and teaches him this writing. And now we teach it, we're teaching it to the kids in the schools. Danny and I look forward to teaching it to a lot of people, to embody that message of aloha and love. And what we teach people is, we teach people how to write it, but we also teach people how to trace it. So if you put your fingers together, which represents the 5 elements in Chinese medicine, and you trace the calligraphy, you actually start to feel this energy start to flow within your body. You feel a sense of this heart opening. And also, we also teach meditation with the calligraphy. So imagine this one calligraphy, and you may be feeling some like an energetic field coming off the calligraphy, matching with your own energetic field within your body. But imagine a room filled with calligraphies that represent all of these positive messages, such as greatest love, greatest forgiveness, greatest compassion, greatest light, greatest humility and harmony, flourishing, gratitude, service, and enlightenment. And then you're in this field of positive energy, and it starts to really transform any negative messages that you have within yourself. And so we also teach people how to do like a Tai Chi movement with the tracing. And in Tai Chi, it's all about moving the energy within your body. And so we teach people how to do a Tai Chi movement with the calligraphy, but literally tracing with what you call the Dan, or you visualize that golden light ball of energy within your body. Because right here, and many of you who have trained in martial arts or meditation, you want to visualize that core energy within you, and you trace with that ball within you, and it really starts to facilitate a healing within yourself that's kind of unexplainable, but it really helps you to feel this sense of oneness and health and happiness. And so that's why we're really excited to work together, because with the positive messages that we all want to embody in everyone, we think these tools can really help people to open their hearts to that message of love and aloha. So so this is the calligraphy for greatest love. The Love, Peace, and Harmony song is just 4 lines, and it's very easy. And the first line is, I love my heart and soul. And it's literally like what the journal is trying to do, and what the calligraphy is trying to do is to foster that sense of that first step, which is to love yourself. It's almost like a self-healing. And we teach the kids, and we do the arm motion. So I love my heart and soul. And then the next one is to share that love. So I love all humanity. And then join hearts and souls together. Love, peace, and harmony. Love, peace, and harmony. So I'll sing it for you right now. But everybody close your eyes. We're going to do this little practice with you. And then visualize a golden heart right in the center of your chest. And think about something that you want to transform within that golden light. Set an intention within yourself. And I'll sing the song, and it's been translated into over 50 languages, including Hawaiian. So it goes like this. I love my heart and soul. I love all humanity. Join hearts and souls together. Love, peace, and harmony. Love, peace, and harmony. And in Hawaiian, e aloha mai a'u, e aloha kako apau, e pili mai pu'uwai kako. Aloha maluhia alokahi. Aloha maluhia alokahi. How. Thank you. We say how in Mandarin Chinese means perfect, good job, be well. And we always like to show our gratitude, so we say thank you 3 times.